What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 33 of the Improv Gamescast.
My heart, you scared me.
He's a pirate this week.
I was just eccentric. Here on youtube.com/improvgaming. Start of the week, you know what happens. It's Monday's episode. We are talking about the WYSP. What games you should play. And
Why you should play.
Why you should play. Oh,
That is not how we do this.
Yes!
Fair enough. I'm joined with two guys I deal with on a periodic basis.
You fucking love us, alright? Let's get that straight.
Do I love or do I lust you?
You lost it.
To my left, he's only the biggest Zelda fan in the world. Don't believe me, he has the tattoo of the Triforce on his arm. Ladies and gentlemen, smack the tables with me. Mr. Jeremy Bird.
What's up, guys? The biggest Zelda fan in the world, coming at you once again.
And to my right, he only has the best ponytail in the business.
It's fabulous.
Give him the finger, Mr. Nicholas.
How's it going tonight, everybody?
And I'm Pete. And I'm wondering, what episode was the first time I ever said I'm wondering on this show?
I think it might have been the second episode.
I thought it was like fourth or fifth.
Yeah?
I want a consensus, because I'm interested.
I'm pretty sure. Well, you know what? I think Jeremy might actually be right. I think it was like the fourth or fifth episode where you just kind of came out with it.
Because
we were like, what's going on here?
Yeah, because the first episode was just static images. Second episode was Destiny argument, and then the third one I think is when you pulled it out.
Yeah,
That's what
I'm absolutely convinced that it was the third episode because we finally got a feel to see that we were all comfortable, and then you were just like, oh, now I'm gonna play around and kind of really improv the shit out of this. So third episode.
Fans, tell them the correct answer, because the correct answer is episode 2 of the Improv Gamescast.
Was it really?
Yes,
You
it
looked it
was.
up, you son of a bitch?
It was.
Well, let's take a moment where I was looking. I go, we've come from still images to being black, to being in HD, being slightly black. No, and I'm just looking. I was like, man, let me see how different this looks from episode 33
Oh, God.
to episode 2.
How different is it?
Oh, so different.
Is it really?
Yeah. And I'm looking, and I just go, I'm watching the beginning, and then I just go, I'm Pete, I'm wondering. I go, son of a bitch!
I started that right at the beginning. Holy shit.
Well, if you think about it, we went through 3 cameras. We went through the one that I had, we had the original one, and now we got the full HD.
Now we got the full HD, the full 1080p HD.
P.
Yeah, we had the 720. Well, first we started off on standard, right? Wasn't it
Yeah.
standard?
Standard, where
I think we started
that
off
was
on standard.
something I had in my lying around my house.
And then
so.
we did 720, and then we went to the full 1080p. More recently, I think it was episode like 18 that we did that.
No, it was past that.
Yeah.
The HD?
Yeah.
It has to be like in the 20s. Let us know in the comments, because I don't feel
Yeah.
like looking it
Because
up.
I'm not looking it up. I'm tired of looking at our videos.
I just remember Jeremy going in the second episode. He's like, guys, something doesn't feel right about this. I'm like, well, we're on video now, goddammit.
And I said, wait a minute, I thought we were taking baby steps here. And you're like, fuck that, jump in the water.
If you didn't know.
Good news, everyone.
This is the Improv Gamescast. We are 3 great explorers who explore the inner workings of video games. We give you great topics every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, with Let's Plays every Tuesday and Thursday. Last week,
What else could you ask for?
I know, what else can you ask for? We talked about Sega all last week, where we played Sonic 3 and we played Golden Axe, which is still probably one of my old school favorite games.
Yeah, and also Sonic CD. Thanks for the mention, you jerk off.
And Sonic CD.
But
You
also,
chode? I
Well, you
took
know
your
what?
word of the
there you
week.
go. But speaking of things, well, I want to give a shout out to our new subscriber who joined us for the Sonic Twitch, and a shout out to Miss Christine for doing that Twitch. That's friggin' awesome. Well
Thank you
done
so
on your
much.
first time. You played Sonic really well. I want to see you complete that game, by the way. You can do it.
It was funny because when she's recording, she was, I don't feel like it was long enough. She was like, it was 10 minutes. I was like, it was 21 minutes. She goes, really?
And she got through the second world.
Oh,
Yep.
nice.
Second level. So.
Nice.
She did good.
She did really well. I would embarrass myself.
But you're here because you want to know why you should or should not play Call of Duty Black Ops 3. I'm going to tell you. You shouldn't.
Oh.
I'm lying.
I was going to say, whoa.
Whoa!
Let me,
Whoa.
Hold the presses.
multiplayer. Let's start with that.
Okay.
Is great.
Okay.
I mean, it delivers so much greatness. I mean, it is the best multiplayer, I think, in years that they did.
Okay.
You know, it's in Advanced Warfare, they had the jetpacks and everything like that. It's getting very futuristic. But for this multiplayer, you know, you run on walls. It's much more balanced, I feel. And the environments are good.
I saw the whole running on walls thing, and I thought of...
Prince of Persia?
No, not
You're
Prince of
thinking
Persia.
of
Titanfall. Yeah, and I was like, why are they doing that?
God.
What, is it actually an effective strategy?
If you can make it work, yes.
Yeah?
It's very hard to run on the walls.
If
But
not,
once you
fall
get it
flat on
down...
your face, right?
But it's very good. The precision shooting, like, is all known for Call of Duty. You know, multiplayer maps have been nice. They're all different. You know, you have your kill confirmed, you have your deathmatch, you have a capture the flag, you have the thing, but then you have your core, then you have your core, then a more hardcore base where it's more like shot once you're dead. Like, it has all these game modes for the casual and more hardcore base for the Call of Duty multiplayer fans.
That's good.
I also was playing a little bit of Zombies.
That's what
How was that?
Now, let me explain something with Zombies. I've never been the biggest zombie fan. But this has its own little story. It's great. I've been liking it. I'm not the biggest fan of Zombies, but it's engaging. The story is good. You know, it's tough in the beginning, but once you learn, you get a couple of buddies, you're good to go. But Zombies is definitely fun. I have to say what's the best. But then we get to the campaign. Which brings us to Vic. Vic, a fan of the show here, emailed us at improvgamers@gmail.com, just like you can, and said, "Hey Pete, I know you're very excited about Call of Duty Black Ops 3, but I've been playing the campaign and I'm just not feeling it. What are your thoughts on it?" Vic, thank you for emailing us, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts. I hated the campaign.
Ooh, I could have called that one.
Let me tell you why.
Let me tell you why. All right. You try to avert a nuclear disaster. Okay. The guy that you were sent in the first mission to kill escapes and then causes the nuclear disaster. So a major metropolitan city blows up. Okay. Then you go chasing after this guy in a weird sense of fucking solidarity and revenge combined. Then you finally get to him and he knocks you the fuck out and you have a throwing knife and you're wobbly and shit and you throw it at him and it fucking misses the first time, right? And he's like, blah, blah. And he goes on this whole fucking monologue and you find a gun, still groggy as shit, alright? Then you wobble with the fucking gun for about half an hour before you can finally pull the trigger. And when you do pull the trigger, it hits him in the shoulder. So you fucking catch him and you don't actually kill him.
And then Black Ops 4.
I would love that game if it actually existed, but that is not at all what happens. Without going into too many spoilers, this game was so far stretched out for Call of Duty, it was not even funny. It was so supernatural that I'm like, all right, time out, Call of Duty. You've gone too far. I mean, basically the story is, in the beginning you die. You get the little robots, like, rip you apart. I'm trying not to do spoilers, so I apologize. Rips you apart, and then you get rebuilt into Cyberman, basically.
Okay, so Colonel Shepard.
Yeah, basically, and you have these there are cool elements. Let me talk about the positives quick. Cool elements. One, since you're a mechanic type machine, you have this new power where basically you have robots, can choose 3 different classes, but I tend to do the one where it was basically like, when I would like to say your timer's back up, you can freeze them in place.
Okay.
You could take control of them. Or you could destroy them if you do another class.
So Pete finally got his PsyOps mind gate conspiracy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But like, that was a cool thing. And then also, which I was disappointed in, is in Call of Duty, you never level up. But in this one, you level up. God. But it doesn't affect the multiplayer, which was disappointing. So I went from level 1 to 13 in the campaign, and I was like, great. This is going to go right over to...
No, it's not.
The multiplayer.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
So I was like...
It's not Destiny.
I realized that, but I was waiting for it to go. Now, don't get me wrong, the core mechanics are there. The shooting is great. The action pieces are great. In Darkness is probably the best level. You have this dark level, rain everywhere, rain's on your screen. You know, so like very quiet, but big firefights. You just see very cool atmosphere. You have Sky Castle where you're in a plane and you have to shoot these things down. They have great levels. I would have to say a handful of levels are great. Handful of levels, all right. Story though, I play Call of Duty for story. I've mentioned that a million times on this game's cast, but the story was so out there. Basically, at the end, like you said, you kill the guy, but he's not really dead. No, he is a figment of your imagination because you're hallucinating. Because Corvix, who is the devil, is coming to get you. Wait, I'm not done.
What the fuck, man?
But it's because he was brought in a lab because your other partners, who were supposed to be your buddies, ended up not being your buddies and created him. But your buddies don't remember that you created him because your buddies are fucked up over here. So you're trying to stop your buddies, but your other buddy is now going crazy. Do you understand anything what I just said?
Nice
That
job.
is the game of Call of Duty single player campaign.
Nice job,
I
Black
usually
Ops.
don't understand anything you say, so.
Nice job,
But
Black
it's just, it would have been cool if it's like they had symbolism with ravens where when you get longer into the story. And it's a cool thing and a little bit on the spoilers, so I'm going to pat my head, as you guys know, so spoiler
We
time.
spoiled half the fucking game. What was the point?
No, I didn't spoil half the game. But it's basically like you shoot this guy and then you have to go through this sequence and it's basically he's not dead and in the end you're actually another guy.
So again, I called it? So again, I called it, right? The campaign was going to suck and it was all going to be about multiplayer.
Spoilers done. The campaign did not suck.
You just went on a tirade about how fucking shitty the campaign was. I fucking called it,
the
sir.
The story is not good. The story, which is usually good. When you had Advanced Warfare 3 with Kevin Spacey, the story was engaging. Yes, it was that typical mold of Call of Duty, but it was still engaging. You know, you're like, when you play Call of Duty, I always say this, you feel like you're playing a Call of Duty game. You know the difference. But when it comes to after coming off the heels of Halo and having that great story and that those twists and turns, you know, even though it is a complex story mode in Halo, which I think you can agree.
Yeah.
It's still, the story was delivered where even people who are relatively new to the series can understand what the hell was going on.
Okay.
In Black Ops 3, you have no idea what the hell is going on in the story. It starts off great, and there's great moments. Like I said, the moments are great in Call of Duty. Like, things are exploding, you know, you have these new powers. But in the long run, the story and the campaign is not worth it.
Not worth it.
So
the campaign sucks.
Yeah, I will agree. The campaign, levels in the campaign is great, but if you're a story person like I am and you play Call of Duty for the story, you will not enjoy this story.
Campaign sucks.
The campaign has great level designs and great action, and the multiplayer is probably the best in years, and the zombie mode is great.
The campaign
But
sucks. I called it, sir.
Nice job, Call of Duty. You managed to fuck up your own franchise.
I could have lied and said the game was great.
Yeah, but I called it. I'm just saying. I called it, all right? I said that it was going to be a multiplayer-based game, and that their selling point is the zombies. So
the zombies are good. The multiplayer is great in years.
Did you go into the zombies very, 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 like, deeply, or?
I played a good, like, hour, 2 hours of it.
All right. So how was that? Because everybody's saying, well, not everybody's saying, but their main advertising point is that there's the zombie mode story.
Yeah, and it's a good story. Because you know what's nice about that? Let me back up. Call of Duty's gotten so much into the future. Advanced Warfare, flying jets, you know, mind control, powers out of the hand, cyborgs. It's getting too much. And they have to wheel it back. And the way they wheeled it back was having 1950s zombie mode. As weird as that sounds.
That sounds pretty good, actually.
That was zombie mode? Was 1950s?
It was about the 1950s. You played as a magician. You played as a go-go dancer. Like, you had these great, like, characters, and it was engaging. And it brought Call of Duty back to its roots. It wasn't, oh my god, I have to shoot everything in the world, you know, and I have to do this. You know, it's, okay, zombies coming, shoot with my fucking 1950 Magnum, because that's what's going to happen. I mean, it, for the long part, is zombies was good, and yes, there was a focus on the zombie mode. I understand that. I get that in the multiplayer, yes. I'm saying, and hear me out on this, the campaign, when it comes to the levels, the levels were greatly done.
Okay.
You can't say they weren't. The effects and especially the level, like I said, in darkness when you play it, the rain and just the atmosphere in the beginning of the game, you're like, damn, they're stepping up. But as the story goes on, the story gets a little haywire. And the gameplay is still there. It's still a great game. But towards the end of the mission, because it's a long campaign, this is probably one of the longest campaigns I played. But there is also one problem with the campaign. Where I know you're going to give me shit.
One problem? I've heard many problems. But please, continue.
The biggest gripe I have with this, and you're going to give me shit, I know. So get ready for the hate on Nick. The single player
sucks.
Is annoying as hell on your own. The single player is made for co-op.
Is it really?
You cannot play... You can play it single player, but it is so much tougher. And if you have that co-op experience, it adds to it. Because you have two people playing.
Now, here's the question. Is there a split screen available?
I believe so, yes. No. No, there's not. It's only online.
It's only online. So, they made a 2-player game without a split screen. Yeah, you know, Call of Duty is right there with fucking with Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed. I'm sorry. They didn't think it out that well. If they made it as challenging as a 2-player game, but they didn't include a split screen, so that then you can play with your buddy right here next to you, then they didn't really think it through.
Don't.
No, like I said,
I didn't jump on him. I'm just
saying
it was a question that I asked because they could have easily they could have included a split screen and
like I said, I'm pretty sure there's not, but I'm not.
It would have if they did a split screen, it would have made it. It would have shown that they put thought into what they were doing.
Yeah.
And clearly they did not put thought into it, especially when you get a story that's convoluted, not only just convoluted, but just makes no sense.
Well, towards the end, enemies come back to life. Like, you kill them once and then they come back.
Well, if you think...
It's very out there.
Like, if you think about it, you can go two ways about the 2-player mode. Because what are a lot more people doing nowadays playing online versus having people come over and play?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I think they did that.
But
I'm not trying to defend. I'm just saying.
At the same time, like, you've got a game like Rocket League where you can play with 4 people in the same room. So Call of Duty can't seem to muster that kind of development.
You know,
especially when they make a game that's challenging enough for 2 players. I just think that they're not really putting thought into what they're doing on the campaign side. They're throwing something together. They're giving it to like their fucking intern that came in to work on the story, and they're like, here, make a campaign story, whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. Nobody even plays the campaign.
Like I said, they can't. And this is the last I'll put it. The levels are great, but the 2 biggest gripes I have with the campaign focused on Call of Duty, which was disappointing to me, is it was garnered towards more co-op multiplayer type thing, and the story was a little convoluted. But what did you think of Call of Duty Black Ops 3?
Well, hold on. Before we ask them, what would you say, sir? Rent? Buy? Return?
Rent? No, it's
for
rent,
the multiplayer,
buy, pass, or
for the multiplayer fan, absolutely buy. It is a great multiplayer game, and the zombies are great. All that is great. If you play Call of Duty for the single player, you can wait till it goes down in price. Wait for a price drop. And then, if you're up for it, you can play it. But, like I said, the level design is great. Everything about the campaign is great, except for the story. And if you have a buddy, I'll tell you what, you have a buddy, you lock in together, go through and have a fun campaign. And let us know in the comments what you thought of Black Ops 3. If you thought the campaign was like I did.
yeah.
But also, just some reminders for you kind people out there. Holiday Buyer's Guide is up right now.
I thought you were going to forget.
On youtube.com/improvgaming, where we talk for about 35-40 minutes. Have a nice conversation about what games you should play.
What games you should buy for the holidays.
How to make sure your Christmas tree, or however you do it for Hanukkah, you have a lot more gifts.
Yep. Bang for your bucks.
Sorry, I'm unintelligent. I apologize to our Jewish fans. I'm sorry.
Also, if you're watching this, which you have to be because you are the greatest fans on the world, Twitch live tonight, 8 p.m. on Monday.
Today is Monday.
Yep.
I know.
What are you playing?
Wait. Dramatic. The final episode of Game of Thrones, the Telltale series. I am playing episode 6 live on Improv Cap. I'm sorry, I saw your face and I was just like, man, I would love to see.
That is not how we do this.
Live on Improv Cap. 8 p.m. Eastern Time, finale of the Telltale Game of Thrones. If you have not played any of them and you're planning to play them, don't watch it. If you're a fan and want to see what happens, I don't mind you coming aboard. We'll have a nice conversation, and you'll see the end of the Telltale Game of Thrones. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please email us at improvgamers@gmail.com if you want to get your questions read live on the show. And as always, game on.
That she can come over and we'll get some food and
Like all together?
I don't know. I'll ask her if she's hungry.
I get to meet Mrs. Nick?
Yes.
Well, not Mrs. Nick, you know.